Hey, this is Don at Hilltech, and today I wanted to talk to you about 1962 International Scout project and converting the standard hydraulic flat tappet lifters to a roller lifter. And I'm not sure if this has been done out there, and I'm going to go through kind of the pros and cons and some of the different styles of hydraulic roller lifters that from trial and error that I found that work best. So let's take a look at this engine block. So you can see here, this is a 4-cylinder 196 cubic inch International Scout motor, and the cam has been ground to accept a roller lifter. I needed a different profile on this cam. This engine is going to be spinning a little higher RPM, and I needed some different torque and horsepower on a curve in different areas than what the factory cam allowed. So this was my first attempt. These are a stock GM small block Chevy hydraulic lifter. They would originally have what's called a dog bone that would surround it so it doesn't rotate and spin, with a spring in the middle. So my first attempt at doing this, and also you're going to need to reduce the pocket size down here in the pocket from the original International. We bushed it with a bronze bushing. We chilled the bushings, heated the block, pressed those in with about a 200 thou press. At the same time, we also used sleeve lock on them, so they're surrounded with sleeve lock. And then we also created a set screw. So with those three things, we're hoping that these bushings do not rotate, move, push out, or anything like that. So anyway, stock small block Chevy hydraulic roller lifter, and so let's put that in. Then I'd machined up some custom made dog bones. The spread, the bore center, is different on an International 4-cylinder than it is on a small block Chevy, so I had to create my own dog bones, snap that in. Now you have to keep this locked down so it doesn't move up and down. So that's where this came into play. This was the first generation of idea. Was a simple shaft, a hole in the center, as you can see here, a hole in the center just to keep that lined up, and then a spring that would keep tension on this to hold it down into position when these lifters move up and down. The problem is trying to fasten the top of this so you can take them on and off, and so on and so on. So give me a minute and I'm going to come back with the next generation design. Okay, so we're back and we have the second generation, and these are comp cam roller hydraulic lifters, and these are going to be a short travel a retrofit hydraulic roller. You can see the part number here. This is the part number that I'm using. And let's take this out of the bag. And now we're going to take the shields off. Now again, you can see how narrow these are to each other. This would be the bore spacing for a small block Chevy. Now let's take this one out. Take these rollers out. And you can get one down, but the bore spacing doesn't allow us to, let's see what we can do here. Doesn't allow me, you can see where it's hitting here when it should be in the center over here. So what these do, this eliminates the dog bone because it has what's called a link bar that link the two, and that way they don't rotate. and I feel it's less moving parts. You don't have this spring, you don't have the dog bone, the spring, shaft, whatever bolting apparatus that you have underneath here. Just gets rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 4 parts, 4 parts, and you get 1. So my solution is I'm going to end up cutting this link bar. I'm going to add a spacer into this, re-weld it back together, and then it's going to have the right distance so that this will fit down into both these pockets, link bar, keep it together. So let's head over to the bench and I'll show you what I've come up with. Okay, so on this set of lifters here, there's an arrow in the middle that's pointing up, and comp cam stamp is legible and able to read. So I would just use that as a mental note that when you weld this back together, to be able to read that comp cam correctly, then that is up. So I'm going to use that line, that arrow, and that's where we're going to make our cut. It's a nice straight line. We're going to use a straight edge here and basically scribe a line and then cut that. As simple as with a hacksaw. So we already have one that's done, so let's check it out. So let's see here. This is going to be turned around. So this is one that's been cut right on the line. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just a simple straight cut. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces. Now we need to make a spacer in the middle to give us the correct spacing between these. Quick measurements are spacing, bore center to bore center on an international block that's been sleeved with a bronze bushing is going to be 2.158 center to center. Stock GM lifter outside dimension is going to be 0.843. You can borrow a reamer, use a reamer, whatever you need to ream those bronze bushings. Most engine builders have reamers for small block Chevy, very popular stuff. This next little drawing is going to be our spacer. And so what I had done is taken a flat piece of bar stock, 1/8 of an inch thick, 1 inch wide, and I relieved it and machined it to the distance that I needed. And that, with that, created 4 pieces here. You have to do four of the hydraulic roller lifter sets. So those are going to be the pieces that we end up using. So let me get it clamped back together and you can see, check it out, see what it looks like. Okay, this is one piece that I have clamped together. And let's see if you can see, there we go. So that's one part of it. Just clamps, real simple. Okay. So there you have it. Spacer is clamped in. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a weld on this seam. You're going to flip it over, and a weld on this seam. So you're going to have 2. So this is the finished product, and we'll take it over to the engine block and try it out. Okay, we're back from the welding bench, and this is what we got. So you can see the little space piece that we welded in. I cleaned it up. Comp cams is upright, so you can read it, so we know that that's up. So let's go ahead and try it in the pockets. See what happens. Look at that. So now we only have one part compared to 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. This one is much simpler, and you just converted your either 152 cubic inch or 196 4-cylinder out of your International Scout to roller hydraulic lifters. Total time to do this is approximately 3 to 4 hours. And now you have rollers, roller bottom end. Next time we'll talk about our head and the rollers on top, because we're converting the top of this to roller rockers also. So anyway, I just thought you guys might like to see that, how you can convert your flat tappet hydraulics into roller hydraulics. All right, thanks a lot. Again, this is Hilltech. I'm Don, and good luck, and I hope this helps somebody on their project.